Okay, so for a primary reinforcer, as a child, my mother would provide me with food, water, and shelter because I'm her son, of course. And whenever I was hungry, my mother would feed me a snack or provide something for me to eat whenever I was hungry, like if I after I mowed the lawn or whenever I had finished doing some kind of hard work, she would have something for me, especially if I was thirsty or something like that. For a secondary reinforcer, I work at my local movie theater and I get free movies, popcorn, drinks, and I also make minimum wage. And so, as a teenager who doesn't have to pay bills, I am able to buy things that I want. And if I need food, then I can get my own food. And I can also buy things that I want, and not only things that I need, like ski gear and snowboards and snow boots. So that way, I'm able to be provided with a secondary reinforcer with a job. For a negative reinforcer, whenever I was younger, I would often procrastinate doing chores, and for example, when I lived with my grandmother, when I was about 9 years old, she would require me to make my bed every day, and usually I would just not do it, and I would neglect to do so, and she would nag me and scold me for it after school, but she would constantly nag me to go do it, and eventually I would do it. Every morning she would ask me before I left if I made my bed, and if I didn't, then she'd keep asking me to go do it, and I'd eventually do it. So there's a negative reinforcer because I didn't like being nagged, and therefore that caused me to do it, and it was a positive behavior in her eyes because I was making my bed and being neat. In continuation, a positive reinforcer I had when I was younger. Often whenever I go to the doctor, my mother would say if I'm good getting shots or blood taken, then she'll buy me a video game. And I was always tough when I was a kid, and I would act tough, and just I wouldn't cry whenever I go to the doctor. So mom would buy me video games, so I was being rewarded with my good behavior at the doctor's office. Another thing, when I was younger, I would go out to eat with my family, and there's a place called Chili's, and it's a nice restaurant, and there's this really pretty waitress, and I would always order a full rack of ribs, and this is like a 9 or 10-year-old kid, a little boy eating a full rack of ribs, and the first time that I ordered them, she promised me to hug me and give me a big old hug if I would finish all of my food, and so I did. And whenever I would go back to Chili's, I would always order a full rack of ribs, and eat the entire thing, just so I could get a hug from this really pretty waitress. And that's part of positive reinforcement that I received as a young child, and also as a child growing up into a teenager. Some more positive reinforcement. I would study hard, and I still study hard to get straight A's. And having good attendance also helps maintain good grades. And because I'm at the top of my class now, I've seen that having good attendance and studying hard pays off. And I can see that the A's that I get and the positive benefits, that's my positive reinforcement, the end result of studying, and the status that I now have and have achieved as part of the top 10 of my class. Now, punishment by application. As a young child, if I did not listen to my mother, she would spank me depending on the severity of my disobedience. And application of pain, that's what I would consider it. And or if I was late coming home, she would apply curfew for the next time. And that can be seen as removing something or adding something, because she's adding a curfew and she's also removing time. So I guess it goes hand in hand there. One thing that I was punished for, or a way I was punished in the aspect of removal, if I was bad, my mom would take away my video games for a week or so. Also, if I was bad in other ways, she would take away my cell phone, and I would not get to communicate with friends, and so that was a punishment. And she would also take away time with friends. And so those are some examples of reinforcement and punishments that are parts of my life in the past and currently.